Can you elaborate? Because
and you don't have to
it
elaborate
wasn't from
too
a fight.
much, because we've been told that maybe not all parties still know the full story. So if there's details you want to omit, it's totally
it was
cool.
so long ago. I'll drop the news.
There we go. The truth will come out here on Story of the Fight. All right, Story of the Fight listeners, welcome to a special episode of Story of the Fight. As always, I'm with my boy Will over there, but we have a special guest, Landry Ward, the Lonestar Kid from Fort Worth, Texas, right? Hook 'em? Yes, sir. And this is your second time on the podcast, Landry. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me back. Yeah, it's been too long. Glad we can get made some jumps in my career, so glad to be back.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been cool watching, man, because when we started this, I mean, we didn't expect to be doing like interviews with people. We were just like, we'll just talk about the fights. And then you were one of I think the second fighter that we had on, something like that.
Yeah.
Like one of the first. So it's cool circling back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun journey. Like you say, you get into it, then you start getting into fighting. You have a fighter on, then you get to follow the journey. So yeah, y'all been growing,
Definitely.
I've been growing. So good to circle back.
Hell yeah.
I love it. Growing together, man. And hey, most recently, you had another fight in Combate Global, right? You've been with them for I want to say over a year now, right? A couple years almost?
Yeah, I want to say just a little over a year, I believe.
Yeah, they've been good to you, huh?
Yeah, they've been really good. So I had one fight with them, and then after that I signed a 4-fight deal, and then that just ended on that last fight. So
nice, man.
now we're free agent.
Yeah.
Now we see what
Now we're
happens.
free agent.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll be honest,
So
I signed up for Paramount Plus just to watch that last fight.
Yeah.
Damn, appreciate that.
He's all
know, it makes a difference,
that fight alone was worth the $5.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, man. We'll talk about the fight a little bit later. But just thinking about you mentioned the growth and the progression. I mentioned before watching you in TKO over here, which is a local organization, and XKO over here in Fort Worth, Texas, Dallas area, DFW. And I remember seeing you, and I told Will about you. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, you have to watch this guy. The same night after watching, I was like, you have to watch, because Will is a fight degenerate, man. Like, you put on fights from Asia, Europe, DFW, bum fights. Like, will sign up and watch the fights.
In the intro, he was talking about his senior year writing an essay for the Frankie Edgar BJ Penn. That's a fight fan right there.
Yeah, 100%.
So, long time.
And since then, like Will said, we've been, watching your career develop. Just super proud, man, because we said before, we'll say it again, sky's the limit for you, man. I know you're going to be doing big things. Currently on a 2-fight win streak. Recently beat Carlos Rivera, and then most recently Gianluca, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
That fight was fun, man. That was there was no feeling out process. It started and it was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, he surprised me a little bit in the first round because I watched his most previous fight before we fought, and that dude was like wild. Like he was just running at the bit, like throwing looping punches, overhands, and then I guess he went and trained at Alpha Male for this one. They kind of tightened him up. He came in and actually was throwing like crisp boxing combos down the middle, and I was like,
punches.
Okay, I wasn't expecting this. Had to sit back and make a little bit of reads, but yeah, got his timing down and then made it.
Yeah, so you say so you watched his last fight and he was kind of running in. Was the that step in knee, was that something that you expected going into it then? Because you made that. It seemed like you made the adjustment. You started landing it a lot in the second round, but was that something that game planning, like, hey, if this guy's going to come at me hard, I'm going to just catch him with his knee as he comes in?
Yeah, I was drilling that when I was shadow boxing. I was throwing knees a lot, like visualizing that. I remember I was doing mitts with my coach. It was probably like 2 weeks before the fight. And I was doing mitts, and then we were just doing like a little like light sparring session with one of my training partners, Elvin Espinoza. And I was just like marking knees, and I was like, I know he's gonna run in, so I'm gonna pick a shot that I just throw it as hard as I can. And then when I got his timing down, I landed one, landed two, and then this was, I think, the third one I landed flush. I don't know how he ate that. That's a tough
that
dude.
one busted
I don't
him
know how
open.
he ate that and stayed standing.
Yeah, I mean, because I think right after this, he kind of shot. I think he landed another one. I think he clinched up, right? Landed a couple in the clinch, and
Yeah, I
then
landed this one. I saw him wobbled. Part of me wanted to just let loose, but I was like, no, I think I got him anyways. And then, he ducked again. I threw the knee. It kind of bounced off his hands. And then we clinched. I threw a knee in the clinch, caught him on the chin, threw an elbow, and then he shot. And then
you had that like up
sprawled,
elbow, right?
Yeah, sprawled, circled around, and then that kind of started the ground and pound finish.
Yeah, that was that's a gnarly finish, man. That's that's one for the highlight reel.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Seeing him get up and all the blood.
Yeah.
People, my mom and stuff like, oh my God. It's the bloodiest one I've had so far for sure.
Man, I mean, once he shot on you and you like hit the sprawl, I don't know if his face hit the mat or something, and like opened it up even more, because as soon as he shot and you defended that takedown, it was like pouring out. I mean, obviously the knee busted him open, but
yeah, maybe it was just the angle. Since he was looking down, it just started leaking more.
Yeah, what in that moment is that something that you're like? Does a light bulb go off, or like, oh, this guy's really busted open, or are you just still hyper focused, or like, how does that play mentally?
I just remember. I don't even think I like saw or noticed the blood really. I just knew that he was hurt already. Like after I landed the knee, and then we clinched up, whatever. And then he shot, and when he shot, I was like, all right, yeah, he's done. So I just wanted to keep throwing. And then my corner was yelling like, 45 seconds, a minute, just keep throwing. So I was like, as many shots as I could. I just didn't want to stop. So I just kept on as many as I could. He started to get up. Like when he stopped it, like kind of as he was getting to his feet. And I was about to just let go because there was like 15 seconds. So I was about to just let go and start swinging haymakers because I knew the ref was close to stepping in. But I landed a couple on his temple, and then the ref called it.
Yeah, I mean, there was no like protest from him either. I don't remember him, because like you said, he was getting up, but I think he was done.
Yeah,
that was
there was a lot of damage there. And the blood, I think the ref was like, oh, I don't know. I think I need to.
Hey, one of the things that you mentioned, Landry, was the fact that you had him hurt and you wanted to go in and let loose, but you decided to step back. And I'm wondering, how much do your coaches talk to you about that? How much of that comes in training, and how much of is it just you gaining that experience throughout your fights? Because I believe that was your 7th pro fight, if I remember correctly.
That was my 8th. That was my 8th. 7th win.
Pro fight. Yeah. So how much of it is just you being able to say, like, hey, you know, I've been here before. It doesn't always go the way I want it to, you know, so I'm going to step back and just make sure I take a more cautious approach.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's a mix of everything, the experience and like my coach and how we've been since the beginning. We've always been smart.
Dieter, right?
Yeah, Dieter. I started with him, and, you know, we've come a long way now. Met him in Texas. We trained in Texas. He's from Florida. It just kind of messed up that we moved back, that his wife got a job opportunity in Florida, and I kind of followed him down there. And now I'm at Kill Cliff, and then he ended up getting a job there now too. So nice. our journey's been wild, and it's can't wait to see where it's at, you know, in the next 6 years that it goes. But yeah, it's a mix of both. The experience, me myself, I think I'm a very like intelligent, smart fighter, and him being in my ear, the way we study the game, the way we talk about the game, like having a good fight IQ, not seeing you rock somebody and not just going crazy, burning yourself out. Even in my pro debut, I remember like having that thought. I dropped a dude with, I don't know, I think I dropped him with a right hand, and the same thing. I remember wanting to go on him, but I was like, nah, we'll be all right. Let's say he's hurt. Just like be smart, don't, because you see people get tired all the time. Like Gray Maynard, Frankie Edgar. We were talking about Frankie earlier. He dropped Frankie like 3 times, and he's just going crazy on him. So yeah, it's picking up things like that. Well, you know, I study the game a lot, so watching fights and being able to mentally break that down to like, all right, you don't need to do that. Be smart, be technical, how you always fight, and let the finish come to you. Don't force it.
Oh, that's awesome. I think we've mentioned that plenty of times, Will, right? Because there's so many different examples of like when a fighter rocks another fighter and then they don't push forward. And then other times where you see somebody rock another fighter and they think, oh, I got this in the bag. They rush in and all of a sudden they're the ones that are in trouble. And it's finding that balance.
Yeah, that's like a fine line in the middle, right?
Yeah, it is. And it's kind of on like who you're fighting too. Like that kid was tough as hell. I hit him with a lot of clean shots and he was still standing. So maybe he would take a little bit if I was just going crazy and that would, play in a favor of me. Maybe you're fighting somebody who's been knocked out a lot in the past and you're like, all right, I heard him. He's going to go down. You let loose and end up getting the finish. But yeah, it's all those things. Being smart, knowing who you're fighting, and like making those adjustments and reads in the fight as well.
That's
awesome. I think that's the key one there. Like not everybody's able to do that. The fact that you're able to do that, I think that's the impressive part. Because
appreciate it. Yeah, I felt like this fight was like a fight that really showed my experience and my fight IQ. Because I was at the first round, obviously wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was at first, but it didn't go. It obviously didn't go my way. And then being able to make that read in the second round, I was able to switch from going to a single leg to a body lock and finishing the takedown. And then in the third round, like I made those read. It wasn't really as much him running in like I thought it was going to be to land that knee. But every time I feinted or made a little move towards him, he just ducked. He either duck and throw or he just ducked right here. And as soon as I made that read, I was like, I got him. And I just started letting I just started letting the knees go. Yeah, I felt like I leveled up a lot in this fight, and like you could see it.
So when Will and I were talking about this, he's like, dude, he's got to go up to the UFC because it's almost not fair. Like watching watching him fight some of these guys, like, which is a compliment, a huge compliment to you because like there's levels. There's levels. But you mentioned being a free agent now, right? So are you what's your thought process right now? Are we trying to sign with Combate again? If they come at you with a nice offer, are you looking to go, LFA, UFC? Like what do you want to happen next?
Yeah, I mean, my goal is the UFC, so most likely I'm probably leaning towards another promotion like, LFA or Fury, something that feeds into the UFC. And you never know with my record and the type of wins I've had, I could be getting ready for a fight for LFA or something like that. And hey, we need a guy. And I'll be there for the call. So it's a crazy sport. I'll be ready if the short notice call comes or something. So
you never know, man. You never know. We've seen some people come out of Combate as well, straight into the UFC. I believe Eric Ghost Pepper Gonzalez was one of those guys. Rafa Garcia is another one of those guys. And one last thing, and we'll move on from Combate.
For him too.
Oh yeah.
He might have. Yeah,
maybe. But the last one too, when they're calling you and they're like the Gringo from Fort Worth. I was like, why did I do my boy like that?
Well, that was my idea because I was like, all right, I'm the white kid going into the biggest Latin American promotion that we got.
Yeah.
I was like, how am I gonna get a sales pitch? How am I gonna market myself to this? And they interviewed me, and I was thinking about saying it in Spanish, but I think like the words didn't roll off right, so I just said the Gringo is coming. And they loved it. Like when I said it while we were doing the interviews, the guy behind the camera and the guy interviewing me just like lost it. They just started cracking up, and I was like, all right, I got this. This is good. We got to roll with it.
Dude, it was funny, man, because I heard it. I started laughing. I was like, man, why I gotta do my boy like that? So funny. Oh man. Will, did you have anything else on the fight?
No, I mean, well, like you said, I think like he came out, he started landing the 1-2, right? Like the straight punches. And just to give you more credit. But we always talk about how it's difficult. It's probably easier to win the first round and continue on that path than it is to lose the first round and then flip the tables, right? And make the adjustments and stuff like that. And like I was telling Ramiro, like, I don't think, like when I was like, yeah, it's almost not fair, right? Having him fight like in these like promotions that aren't quite at the UFC's level at this point. But that's not to mean that you're like fighting cans. You know what I mean? Like there's still good guys, but like he said, there's levels, and I think the ability to take that first round and then do what you did with it, I think that is what kind of shows that like you should be probably at a higher step at this point. So hopefully it happens.
Yeah, soon. We're right there. I mean, we're on the doorstep. I appreciate that though. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, a lot of people nowadays, they build their record fight can after can. I feel like I've gradually fight by fight like stepped up the competition. Like not making like huge jumps, but better and better as we go. And yeah, I do think I'm at that level, and I'm, a fight or two away from getting that call and making the run at the big show.
Would you like to do something like you said, like sign with LFA, and then I know, like you said, they pull a lot of LFA fighters for like short notice fights. Would you rather something like that go into like you said, like a feeder league, or would you rather do like a contender series type thing?
Tough.
Like tough? Yeah, like what would be
best for you? I mean, honestly, either of those options work. The thing with the contender is it's not till next like August or something. So that would be a long time to sit out. But I mean, can't say no. Can't really say no if they come out with that. I take the opportunity. So the Ultimate Fighter would be very fun. Then bringing that back, that gets a lot of eyes on you too.
Oh, DFW's Ultimate Fighter ratings would be off the hook, dude, if you were in
there.
Come on, the fan base over here.
And they just said that in 2023 they're going to go back to fight nights having fans and not all of them at the Apex too. So
yeah,
I'm trying to speak it into existence that my debut ends up lining up at AAC.
Yeah, let's do it.
Get some LSK chance at American Airlines Center and start the journey in the UFC there. So that would be a fun one.
Is that where
you'd have to fly in for that one, dude? Yeah, that's where we watched Stipe versus Junior Dos Santos.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a cool stadium. That was fun energy.
It's nice, man. It's nice. So, but I think that's all the questions we have in regards to the fight, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so now,
congrats.
Last time, Landry, we asked you questions regarding Texas, right? To see how Texas you were. And you passed with flying colors, man. Passed with flying colors. The Lonestar Kid is a perfect nickname for you after that interview. Now, we want to get a little more personal and find out more about who is LSK, who is Landry Ward. Are you down with that?
Let's do it.
He's like, I don't know.
A reluctant, let's do it.
Yeah. So, one thing I did want to kind of it ties in because we talked about the increase of I guess you could say the leveling up, I should say, that we've seen right since your career started, and a lot of it comes from your work ethic, man. Now, word on the streets is that in high school you really wouldn't do anything until you got your workout in. Like you had to work out before you did anything else. And in college, you'd have like 10, 15 people over hanging out, and you'd be the person that's in your room knocking out your homework. Where does this work ethic come from?
Dang, where'd you get the word on the street? I'm intrigued.
Dude, the streets of Fort Worth, I'm telling you, man.
I'm intrigued to hear the source. But honestly, I think, part of it comes from my family. They're blue-collar workers, hard workers. And I don't know, something besides from that, something clicked in me in high school because I was a hard worker. I would do my work, but then I kind of let some things get to me after my junior year, going into my senior year. Lost my head a little bit, lost that work ethic, and I was partying a little too much, and lost some scholarships for football. And, that was my goal ever since I was a kid, was play college ball, make it to the next level for football. And when I lost those and I sat back and realized why I lost it, something clicked in me, and I got my head on straight, and I was just busting my ass. I turned into the guy who was in college in freaking Lubbock, Texas, one of the biggest party schools there is. My house was, in fact, a party house. My roommates didn't mind it, and I would be in my room like, damn, I might have made the wrong decision. But I had fun being the sober guy there too, so it was cool. Got my head on straight, just wanted to do better, was in a good position physically and mentally to go walk on and play football. And then I walked into an MMA gym and started having success, realized this is what I wanted to do. And then I had a coach in Dieter who, put belief in me. He kind of believed in me more than I believed in myself at that point to chase that dream when we really started chasing it. And then I, from that point, had a lot of people who believed in me, family, Dieter, all these guys thinking I could do something. And that motivated me. That's an extra motivation that's been added as well. So a lot of it's from within and self-motivation. And then a lot of it's from all the people who've taken time and emptied time and belief into me that I want to prove right and prove myself right.
Damn. This might sound corny, but I hope this comes out the right way. But I think part of what makes like fighting like so cool is like you can find like almost like life parallels in fights themselves, Mm-hmm. And like again, this might sound corny, but like your last fight, right? He came out strong, had a good first round. You adapted to that, and you got the win, right? Got the finish. But then kind of the same thing, like you just talked about, like maybe partied a little bit too hard, lost some scholarships, had a setback with that, lost the first round or whatever, but then kind of adapted to that and then ended up on the path that you're on right now. I think that is like a kind of an example of like what you can find in fighting, how it represents life itself. It sounds kind of deep and corny, but I don't know.
No, 100%. Cool. I mean, life is all about how you accept adversity and face adversity. No, another guy who gives me motivation, I don't know if you know Inky Johnson. I get a lot from him. Like you face adversity every day in life. But this guy, I was a football guy. He was a football guy. If you know him, he came from nothing, was about to be in the pros, and got paralyzed an arm in his body. And the way he adapted to it and changed his life, if he can adapt to something like that,
man,
anybody can. So
I think being able to recognize it
personal.
Yeah, I think being able to recognize that type of stuff in life and be able to adapt like that, I think it shows in your fights. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that not everybody can do in their fights. And maybe it's because they never had to in life, or maybe who knows? But I think it is apparent in your fighting.
Appreciate that. Yeah, 100%.
So, one of the things that you had mentioned is that you started training and working out because you wanted to go walk on, right, into some college. Now, I know that you and your dad hid the fact that you were training to fight from your mom, right? So you went from hiding this from your mom to your mom now hosting watch parties and attending as many fights as she can. So, Rich, if you could put the picture up of Mr. Landry here with Ms. Ward, and I believe your brother Collier, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So, man, what is having the support of? Yeah. What does it mean having the support of your mom, man? And what does she help? How does she help you in your career?
It's everything. Like my mom's been my biggest fan since I was 5 years old and I first started playing sports. It's funny. This is funny you bring it up because my dad was actually telling a story the other day, and we were out with some people that he would show up. He showed up to a game one time, and he was probably like 300 plus yards away from the field. He got there after work and was walking up, and when he was like that far away, he could hear my mom over everybody else screaming and cheering for me. She's my number one fan, my biggest supporter, and she's helped me out since I dropped everything and moved to Florida, away from everybody. I would not be doing what I'm doing and be where I'm at, if it wasn't for her. She's been a backbone for me, and her love and support is huge. Yeah, now she hosts a watch party. She's the biggest saleswoman for my brand. Above me, Lonestar Kid. Gotta get the drop in there. But
by the way, fantastic logo, man.
Yeah, it's
a fantastic logo. It's awesome.
Yeah, my boy Blaine Cavazos, he helped me put it together. He's got a good mind. Yeah.
That's
but yeah, it means a lot, having the support. Like I circle back to, wanting to prove all the people that believe in me right. She's at the top of the list. She's the one I want to prove right.
That's awesome, man.
That's funny going from hiding the training from her to now her reacting to this fight where it's like a super bloody fight.
Yeah, she didn't want me to to fight, and but it wasn't that my dad was wanting to hide it too. My dad just goes, "Well, you better tell her that I didn't tell you to do it." He said, "Better tell her it wasn't my idea." I was like, "All right, we'll find out." Then when I wanted to take my first, I think it was like a smoker, like a glorified sparring. I think we had to travel to Houston. I think that was the first time we dropped an honor. But yeah, so always my number one fan, always my biggest supporter. So when she saw how dedicated and committed to it I was, she jumped right on board.
That's awesome.
That's good stuff, man. And so, and the thing is, growing up, right? I believe you were playing football from the young age. I had heard the ripe age of 5, if I remember correctly. And everybody thought that you were going to be a quarterback, that you're going to grow up, be a quarterback. What I heard was that you're a natural born leader, man. You're grabbing kids from the jersey at a young age, putting them in the right position, man. Telling them what to do.
You did get some sources.
Yeah. But, the other thing I found out is that your brother was actually a D2 linebacker, Southwestern Oklahoma State, right? So is that where your love from football came? Because it sounds like you looked up to your brother a lot, and you and your brother are pretty close also, huh?
Yeah, definitely looked up to him a lot growing up.
Now, which brother is this one?
This is Collier, my older brother. Yeah, he's my only sibling I have, my older brother. We both grew up playing sports. We all had a passion for sports, so somebody I looked up, and
he looks like a linebacker.
To be at the games, going to watch his games. So
that's awesome.
How much older is he?
4 years.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, definitely, that's cool. Easy to look up to a brother who's like setting that example and stuff, especially if you like the same stuff. That's cool.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. And just a couple more questions. And it's not, again, it's personal, but not too personal, right? But by the way, at the ripe age of 5 playing football, Rich, can we show the picture, man?
He's like, come on.
How can you not? You know what I mean? Look at the ripe young age, cowboy hat. How can you not grow up to be the Lonestar Kid with pictures like this, man? By the way, the last episode we showed the picture of you in the blue bonnets.
Yeah.
So this one we had to throw another kid picture up, but this is fantastic. Lonestar Kid right there from a young age.
It's in the roots.
It's in the roots.
Hey, I might have to go back and recreate this picture.
Yeah, that would be hilarious, dude.
Please do, man.
Jean jacket, cowboy hat, no.
Why not? Why not? So we know, man, that you've taken some hits in the octagon, right? It's bound to happen in your profession. But I want to know about the time that you broke your orbital bone. And that, I believe you were in the 10th grade, was it?
I think it was in 9th grade.
9th grade. Can you elaborate?
And you don't have to elaborate. It wasn't from a fight. Because we've been told that maybe not all parties still know the full story. So if there's details you want to omit,
it was cool. So long ago. I'll drop the news.
There we go. The truth will come out here on Story of the Fight.
It's a funny story. Yeah. 9th grade. Oh man. So I had just had a big football game. We lost to, I think it was, I don't know if it was a playoff game in junior high or something, but when I get home from the game, our dog was dead. Then 2 days later, there was a party, and my friends and I went to it, and the cops came. And so I went to that party. I guess upset with life. I was going to drink. I think I might have had a beer. Then the cops came. So the cops get there, and my friends and I are like, oh, we can't be here. And we're idiots. And, we go to run. And we hop some fences, and we're in like this store. We're in like a cul-de-sac. Just like, what are we going to do? Because we're in Northampton Hills. We all stay in Bedford. And the cops turn the corner, tell us to stop. We all disperse. I take a couple backpedal steps, turn, and my friend's in front of me. He ducks. I take one step, and boom, get taken off my feet by a sheet of plywood that's hanging like out of the bed of a truck, and it's as wide as the truck. So when I hit it, it doesn't move at all. I take all the force. I don't know. You can probably still see the scar on my nose. But I think the craziest part, I probably should have just like laid there and let them take me to the hospital. But I was an idiot. I go back, smack the ground, and come back up. And I go to keep running, can't see a thing. My contacts like disintegrating in my eyes. Just couldn't.
Oh my God.
My friends throwing me over fences. We end up meeting up with our other friend, calling his brother to come get us. He's like, dude, I'm not coming to get you. I'm at a party too. I've been drinking. I call my brother. I'm like, dude, I'm dying. You gotta come get me. I got a plain white shirt on that you can rent blood out of. He comes and gets me, and he's like, oh shit. Brings me back home. My dad cleans my face, opens my eye. He goes, we gotta go to the hospital. Yeah, I get to the hospital. My nose is split in half, crushed, shattered, fractured orbital bones. Had to get plastic surgery.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can find the picture from me in the hospital and send it to you so you can put it on here. That's the first time I ever publicly said that story, and that just brings back some crazy memories. I was like, it's a wild story, but it's what it is.
Yeah, like Will had said, he's like, what we heard was like, we're not sure if we've gotten the full story yet, but this is what I know. And so that's awesome,
man. That's hilarious.
Young and dumb. It happens.
We learn.
Yeah. I know that. So funny, man. That story's probably gonna get clipped in the future.
Yeah.
With some pictures.
That's good stuff. And I have one last one, right? Because I was just wondering, if there's any just funny memories that anybody might have of you, right, growing up. And one of the ones that was brought up, a friend of yours that you played baseball with growing up, and they said it was the championship game. Landry's on the mound. Landry's on the mound.
Reese,
and we're all standing there, and one more out left to go. Landry steps off the mound, takes a knee, just starts praying in the middle of the game, and we're all like, "What's going on?" Right? So, is there any rituals you have now these days to help you out in tough spots, like you're in the middle of the octagon in Combate or the and you're just like, "Hey,
hold on, take a step back." Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was just a young kid who had probably seen that happen. In and out of church with my parents. Probably saw a major league player do that before, like a World Series game or something.
Yeah,
and I was like, "It's the biggest moment of my life." Step off. I got to close the game out. I got to win this championship. That was my World Series.
And did you?
Yeah, I do remember winning that game. So yeah, I'll take it. God was with me on the mound.
Yeah.
There we go, man. All good stuff, man. I enjoyed hearing all this. And I said that was the last question. This last one. Do you prefer Landman or L-Dog? Which one?
Man. Dang, it depends how far back we're throwing it. Landman takes me back to childhood. L-Dog takes me back to high school.
There we go, man. There we go. And now it's SK. Yeah, there we go.
Hey, I'll SK. I've been a man of many nicknames throughout my life.
Or the Gringo.
The Gringo from Fort Worth.
They just keep adding up.
Yeah.
Hey, Landry, man, I can't tell you how much fun it is having you on the podcast, whatever we have you on.
I really appreciate it, man.
Oh, yeah. I had a great time, as always. So we'll do it more in the future for sure.
Hell yeah. And if you don't mind hanging on for a few seconds after we close out, but before we do, is there anything that you want to plug? I know you have your own clothing line, right? Anything else?
Yeah. Anything else? Shout out everybody that supports me, everybody tuning in, all my teammates, coaches, training partners. So, but yeah, last but not least, LoneStarKid.com. I want to get some hats, jackets, any merch. Eventually, I'm going to look into selling like gloves and training equipment too. So we'll get that started. But also, y'all can DM me. I do have some other merch available that's limited.
Ooh, okay.
So we got hats. I'll put them all up. Hopefully people keep watching.
And that's a great logo, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That'll go perfect with my sweater right now.
Oh, yeah. I got
burnt orange.
This one's burnt orange, black, and white. So that'll go with it. Then got these in red and navy blue. So those are all limited that I just showed. Y'all can DM me. I can ship them out, or you can come pick them up if you're in DFW.
Love it, man. Love it. Do you have anything else, Will?
No, thanks again, man. Really appreciate it.
Hey, for sure. Yeah. Thank y'all.
All right. Hang on for a couple seconds, Landry. And thank you, everybody, that listened to the special edition of Story of the Fight.